and welcome to This Is Metal. I'm Tom Collier. I got my great co-host Jason J. Rock Houston. Tonight we have a very special guest, Mr. Mark Farner.
Hey,
How are you,
brother.
Mark?
This is Mark Farner here, and this is metal.
All right, Mark. Thanks a lot. Let's get right into this. So, your new album came out. How's that going? Came out last fall. We got a chance to listen to it anymore. What a great tune! And I watched the video of that. So I just have to ask you one question about that song.
Yeah, Tom.
What is that about? I think I know what it's about, but what is the theme of that song? I got a good idea.
It's it's about forgiveness. The end product is about forgiveness and how it's it makes you a better person because you won't let yourself stoop to the point of being angry. See this anger in the world, everybody's kind of getting a little pissed off, a little
Yeah.
angry about shit, and it don't matter. It wouldn't matter if it did matter. You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about, brothers?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love it. What a great and the lyric video and stuff like that. I just love just the basic backgrounds in it was it just flowed so well. Who did the lyric video for you?
I couldn't tell you, but they were
Okay.
good.
They were good. Okay.
Yeah, there was it was a gal that we talked to. I don't know the name of the company. I'm bad at that. I kind of forget, shit like that real easy, real quick, and I kind of remember things like a good fishing spot on a trout stream. I will recall that. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Go ahead, Jason. I know you got some questions
Okay,
for him.
so also in regards to the song Anymore, I listened to that, Mark, and the best way I can kind of describe it, it sounds like rock and roll gospel to me. I was wondering, when you were coming up, were you at all inspired by gospel music?
Yeah, it's we call it God rock up here. Uh
Yeah,
yeah, it's not so much the modern day church, I think, has got it all wrong.
yeah, I'm with you.
Most modern day churches operate under a 501c3 tax exemption that was given to them by the Infernal Revenue Service, the money changers. And it was the money changers that Jesus threw out of the church. And now most of these churches have done signed a contract with the money changers, giving the money changers authority over the ministry of the modern day church. How could this be?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This just my rant, my 2 cents, brothers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know what I love about it is, even if it does have a little bit of a rock and roll gospel feel to it, I mean, that's my idea of like, can you imagine going to a church like that that plays music like that and has a choir like that? You get up
Oh,
on your feet and you're like, man, this is fun.
yeah, yeah. Another thing, Jason, is that most of the modern day churches, the big churches, they got a band. They call it the praise and worship band,
Okay.
but the praise and worship band that I was in a church, a little church that started in a guy's garage, we didn't get paid, Jason.
Wow.
We didn't have a weekly salary to show
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
And so that these modern day churches, a lot of them, they hire the hitmen, the great musicians. Don't get me wrong, they're great musicians. But if it's praise and worship, what does that money got to do with it? It's why Jesus threw the money changer out of the church.
Yeah, wow. I'm going to throw back to Tom, but before I do, Tom, I want to ask you, I'm sure as a guitar player and songwriter yourself, it's been in the business 40 years. Um, at some point, you must have been a Grand Funk fan. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I am a huge Grand Funk fan. As a matter of fact, my first United States tour, and we were doing all original music, but we came out, we're proud Americans. We came out there, we had to do American Band. We did our version of it, and every time we hit that song, the place went nuts. I mean, so that was
Oh,
kind of like our anthem. We'd come out there and just say, we're proud to be American. We're not ashamed, we're proud. So we
yeah,
used
man.
American Band, and we play, I bet you I played that song on 10 tours. 10
Awesome.
tours I used it. It was just
Yeah,
a great tune. Yep. So let's talk a little bit about Grand Funk. I know you wrote like 90% of the music in that. I didn't realize you were that. I knew you were a great writer, but 90% of the Grand Funk stuff was yours, is what I understand.
yes, absolutely.
Let's talk. Did you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, but that 90's good. Yeah, I between 92, 94%, but 90's a good place to start.
Sure. So what was it like? What was your writing process back then? I mean, you had so many hits.
Yeah. Well, it most of it started like a jam. You know, I'd be playing some chords. I had been playing guitar for, I started with guitar when I was 15 years old. I started learning to play an acoustic, a K, an acoustic. The strings that far from
Yeah.
the neck.
Yeah.
You had it. It would have been a better bow and arrow thing. I mean, to shoot. Uh, but but I started when I was 15. Then well, I went with Dick Wagner and a group called the Bossmen. Dick Wagner, of course, lead guitar for Alice Cooper for
Sure.
years. Only Women Bleed. He
Bleed.
was
Yeah.
a wonderful songwriter, and I was in his band. And one night we came home from a gig. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning when we rolled into his apartment in Saginaw, Michigan, and his wife and two kids were sleeping in the other room. So we're playing our electric guitars with no cords plugged into them, just
Yeah. Yeah.
soft. And he's showing me some chord inversions, and I just came out. I was just point blank. I said, Dick, how do you write all of these songs, man? You got songs coming out your ass. You got songs
Yeah.
that you never run out. He reaches over and he touches me right here. He says, "They're right in there, Mark. You can write songs." And it was like, I don't know. He got a key in right in here and he turned it. And that night, when he went to bed, I stayed up and I wrote Heartbreaker, which is on the first
Sure.
Grand Funk album, and and it's a big smash in a lot of places in South America. They love it. They sing it louder than we sing it. When it comes to the choruses, oh my God. So that's where it really started, and that started with a jam, some chords, because of some inversions that Wagner used were not a common, structure of guitar players, and so I liked it because it sounded different to me. But lately, I have been playing in not in A440. I play in A432, which is old school. It is what the American standard was prior
Wow.
to 440, and that was Rockefeller changed it in 1953. I think they started talking about it 1939, changing it. It actually was declared by Rockefeller. 440 was declared the American tuning standard,
Oh,
but
wow.
the old school was 432. 432 is part of the solfeggio scale, and
Okay.
it is a natural scale. It A2, it's a pretty low note. At 125 decibels, it will rock a kiddie
Oh,
pool
yeah.
full of
Yeah.
water. It's like it's got punching gloves on it. It's got boxing gloves on it. And it's boom, boom, boom. Being that we are 70% water, you can feel 125 decibels.
Oh, wow.
The
Yeah.
threshold of pain is 90, right?
Right. Yeah.
Loss occurs everything over 90. So I watched this video, and this is exactly what happened was he had a kiddie pool, put a 15-inch driver in a single enclosure, closed back, up next to the water. It hit A2 in the 440 scale at 125 decibels, and it was frothing. It was waves. It was like it was jumping up and down like it had legs on it, man. I'm telling you, it was just. Then he tunes it down. He's got the tone generator, so he tunes it down to 432. He plays A2 at 125 decibels, and brothers, it was a sheet of glass. There was not a ripple. There was not a quiver. It looked like a mirror laying there, and I'm thinking, I'm looking, and the guy that sent me the link to this
Yeah.
told me after I get done watching it to call him. So I did, and he explained how it was the solfeggio scale and how it was a natural thing. I started looking into it because one of the things he had me do, and Tom, you might be interested in this, he said, tune your acoustic to 432. And I tuned, I'm sitting in the kitchen, guitar players like to
Yeah.
sit with all those hard surfaces and that all that tone coming back to us. So I'm getting to I use a little headstock tuner, Diodario headstock tuner, and red is sharp, yellow is flat, and green, you're in there. So
Okay.
just as it's coming into the green, I hear this like a whistle. Right along with the note,
Yeah, yeah.
there's a harmonic, and it's undeniable. And I'm thinking, holy shit, man, what is this? And I
Yeah.
tune the guitar, and I'm playing it. It's not louder, it's not louder, but it's more. It's more. And it is a wonderful, beautiful, warm tone coming from, and I tuned a Guild D52 to 432. Man, that was the first guitar I ever tuned to 432. I have every guitar I own is tuned to 432. I've been there for over 15 years, going on 20.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
I,
all
but
these songs come from jams. All the songs that I've written, most of them, I would say 95% at least, have come from jams that inspire me in a certain way to rock in a certain way. But I'm Your Captain was after a prayer. I did my Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep prayer one night, and I asked God to give me a song that would reach and touch the hearts of those he wanted to get to. So I got up in the morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning, just kind of rolled up into a sitting position. I got a steno pad on my nightstand, reach over and grab it, and I'm in between the state of conscious and unconscious. I mean, it was like between heaven and earth. My mind, it was just loving this place, loving the space that I was in, and I didn't smoke any dope. I mean, I was
Yeah,
this was just, you know, my state of mind. And I start writing this song, and I don't even know it's a song because I do this a lot. I set up and write whatever it is that's keeping me awake. I write it down. But that night, I knew better than to go back to the top and to start reading it all over again. I couldn't, it was coming so fast, I didn't have time to look back to the top. I had to keep my flow going. And I knew if I would have uh, lost that concentration and tried to go back to the top, I would have lost the song. And
yeah,
by the time the last words were written, my energy was spent, dudes. I was like, holy shit, somebody pulled the plug on me, didn't it? And I just kind of rolled back underneath the sheet, uh, went back to sleep until morning, got out and I got a coffee going on the kitchen table. I'm looking out at the horses in the pasture. I reach over and I grab my acoustic guitar and I'm bum bop bum bop do 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 do, and I went, whoa, that's a pretty cool lick, man. I
yeah,
think I
yeah,
want to use that. So that's how it came to be, and I went into the bedroom and I grabbed those uh, words. I didn't know they were lyrics when I wrote them, but when I sat them down on my kitchen table next to my coffee and I hit that red button on my Sony cassette recorder,
yeah, yeah.
I started putting it down, and it was just like a natural thing. And hitting that inversion of that C chord that I'd really never played before. I'd never heard it before. But grabbing it and I'm looking at it and going, wow, I like that. I got to remember these right there's where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
But
mean, yeah. I mean, Mark, that's one of my all-time favorite songs. And no offense, it's a very schizophrenic song. Very, I mean, you listen to it, and it's almost like you're listening to two different songs. But that's what I dig about it. It's like nothing you've ever heard before. So, real quick, talk about your decision to cover your own song because it's not quite a total remake. You kind of put your own little unique twist on it, but it sounds pretty true to the original.
yeah, man. And the guy who wrote the orchestration for it, Tommy Baker, he was the band leader in Cleveland, Ohio, for the Upbeat Show, which was a syndicated, like a dance show. Groups would come on, play their music, and then there would be the dancers and the band, the house band. Tommy Baker, he was the trumpet player. His mouthpiece, he had it bent on like a 45, so he was always like this, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a badass, and he wrote all of that. Cleveland Symphony played it, but Tommy Baker came up with all those parts. And what a great guy, and what a great heart, and it all came out in that song, man.
Wow.
And back then, you guys, you remember when it was AM radio,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
We're all
man,
that age, Mark. Yeah.
all of the hits were played on AM,
There you
and then
go.
and these guys started these underground disc jockeys, man. They'd play all of these long, album cuts and stuff, and no commercial breaks. And I've been thanked by so many of those jocks over the years for writing that song. They said, Farner, if I had to take a leak, if I had to smoke a cigarette, get
Yeah.
a sandwich, I could get it all done in that song, man.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna throw it to you, Tom.
Sure. But I love the story about writing in the morning because everybody laughs at me. I wrote every song I've ever wrote is usually I write it between 3 and 5 o'clock in the morning. It's when I'm first waking up. I'm my most creative. My last album was fantastic. I spent 18 weeks on the Billboard charts. I
Yeah.
wrote them songs first thing in the riffs. I keep riffs in my mind. Right before I went in the studio, I told the guys in the band, I said, listen, guys, the whole album's changed now. So I took took 3 songs, created into one, took another song, and then just rewrote the whole album. It's the creative juices. I drive the guys in my band nuts, but they're like, okay, just
Yeah.
what are you doing? I mean, the other night we were playing a benefit for this woman who had ALS. She has to come in, plays the soul out. She couldn't speak, so she wrote down Elvis. Now I don't play cover songs. I went out in my car. I said the first Elvis song I hear, I'm going to learn. Thank God it was Hound Dog. Okay, it wasn't many words because
Yeah.
the place went nuts, but it was just so much fun. I had Carl Canedy from the Rods was drumming with me that night. Had him on there. We just had such a great time. But music is so much fun. But
Oh
the
man.
morning thing, I love that story about subconscious. I've done that. I've laid in bed, just wrote a song laying in bed, going, "My gosh,
Yeah, brother.
that's amazing." I never knew that story about that song. That makes the song even more powerful to me.
It's tapping into it. You
Yeah.
know, I liken it to, I say that songwriters, we get in the frame of mind where we're in a heavenly place, and there's this big trough, and there's all these songs going by, and we're bobbing for songs. We're trying to bite it with our teeth and pull it out of there, and we're
Oh,
bobbing for songs, man.
I'll have to remember that bobbing for song. It's great, but I just it's just so cool because I thought I was the only person in the world. When I tell the guys in the band, I'm like, I wrote this at like 3 o'clock in the morning. They're like, "What the hell are you doing up at 3 o'clock in the morning? I didn't get up
Right,
to pee there at
right.
that time." I wake up and it's the creative juice is gone. But go ahead, Jason. I'm sure you got more
Okay, now
questions.
Mark. I mean, you are really just a legendary, fantastic songwriter. If all you had was these great Grand Funk songs that influenced us, that would be enough. But I tell you, you've got great new music as well. And one of my favorite songs off the new album is "Friends Forever." I was wondering if that was inspired by like a true friend or anybody.
Yeah, you know what? That's Jim Peterick did most of that song. I just threw in a few lines here and there,
Okay, cool.
but I felt it, and he wanted me to sing it. He said, "Man, you need to sing this song." I was down at a writing session with Jim Peterick, and he's a fantastic guy. He's a
Sure.
humble man. He loves what he does, and you can tell. I mean, look at the songs he's written and how he's contributed to rock and roll, man. The
Sure.
38 special stuff and Eye of the Tiger. I mean,
There you
he's
go.
versatile. So when he asked me about, would you want to do this song? Man, he starts playing it on the piano, and I'm going, yeah, man, I could sing that song. I could
Yeah.
sing that song.
Yeah.
And so because we work together and we love each other as brothers, man, that's why it came out the way it did. I played bass on that.
Oh wow! And when people hear the name Mark Farner, they think Grand Funk. Of course, you're a great guitarist. But I was curious when you first were starting to play and stuff. Were you always a singer as well, or was it just a case? Well, these are my songs. Who else is going to sing it? Or because you've got a great voice too,
I appreciate that. I was in choir in school. I loved to sing. My mother came from Leachville, Arkansas when she was 16 years old, moved to Flint, Michigan because of the auto factories. Her whole family, Grandpa,
Wow.
Uncle Woody, Uncle Brian, Uncle Garland, all these yeah, moved from Leachville, Arkansas to Flint, Michigan, and everybody brought their instruments. You know, there was fiddles, banjos, guitars. My dad blew saxophone, and all the women sang. And I loved to hear those family voices blending together, man. It's like, the Bee Gees, they got a certain harmony because they're family.
Sure,
Those
sure,
guys did some great harmonies, really, no doubt. And Karen Carpenter and her brother,
sure. That's a great
uh,
example.
that's family. That's the
Yeah.
magic. And so that got into my head when I was just a little shaver, you know,
Wow.
4 or 5 years old, running around in the farmhouse. And every Sunday, every weekend, it would either be at our house, which was my great grandfather's hand built farmhouse. He poured every block that was used to build that house by hand, and
Wow.
11 room big
Yeah.
farmhouse. And then my Aunt Dorothy, my mother's sister, she had a house out in the country. And if it wasn't at our house, it was at her house. But
Oh,
there was
wow.
a jam session every Sunday. I loved it. And to listen to those women sing, you guys, oh, it was like
Uh,
listening to angels. So I always loved that about our family.
oh, wow.
And I got some of that right here.
Yeah, you can hear it. So, Tom, it's getting ready to
So,
time to wrap up the show. So I'll let you end it with whatever you want to
well,
ask Mark.
absolutely. So, Mark, my phone is going off the hook here. People are texting me from Carl Kennedy to David Shankle when they knew you were coming on the show. So they just have a Carl Kennedy has a question for you, but I'll tell you, David Shankle, first of all, wants to say hi. He said he did Rock Your Way to the Top with Joey Callahan, and you guys were judges. He played the
All
instrumental
right.
set. Do you
Yeah,
know
that's great.
David? Yeah, he's from Man of War. He played with Man of War. Yeah, St. Jude autograph signing. So Carl Kennedy, he is with the Rods, just put a new book out. He's saying his is long. He's seen you at the Broome County Arena. He said, you didn't have the greatest musicians, but you were a superstar. He wondered what made him make that choice. He said, because you brought in people that weren't on the same level as you. He said, but it was an incredible show. Why did you choose to bring them people in with you? Well, we never do all these questions, just so you know, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was one of these where you're hired by the promoter who supplies and Tom, everybody,
Yep.
all these guys that want you to come in, they say, oh, these guys are A+ musicians. They can, and I have done a lot of those, but I stopped doing them because you just can never, his opinion of A+ and my opinion
Yeah,
of
yeah.
A+
Yeah.
is a long ways apart. So that's how it happens.
Yep. Well, that was Carl's question. What made you do it? So now you answered it. The promoter said he had the people, the great musicians.
That's it,
I've
dude.
done that before. We've had opening bands. It's like, my God, they shouldn't even be in a garage. I'm like, are you kidding me? What are these guys? They're driving people out of here. The promoter put somebody on in front of you. Oh, they're a big draw. Yeah. But anyways, Mark, thank you so much. I think it's time for us to get going. Unless Jason, you got another question for
I just
him?
want to say, Mark, thanks for coming on the show. And this show is going to be going up next Tuesday. So I'll send Jody the link, and feel free to check it out, share it on all your sites. You're welcome back here
Well,
anytime, my friend. We just love you.
thank you, brothers, and
Okay.
thank you for that wonderful comment there, and thank you for keeping the music alive. And this is Metal Rocks, buddies.
And so does Mark Farner. I tell you, you keep pumping out the tunes because they're just as good as the classic ones, Mark.
Absolutely.
Take
All
care,
right.
Mark.
God bless you.
Mark,
God bless you,
thank you
my
so
friend.
much,
Bye bye.
brother. Thank you, man.
If I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture.
Okay, there you go.
Take care.